Hello, how are you today? This is JilliBling, and I have another project to share using Ranunculus Romance, the bundle, and here it is. This I saw on Pinterest. Wild Violet Art did something very similar to this. I made a few changes, but it's just beautiful and very soft, very subtle. Quite a bit different from the previous two. And it's using ornate frames, ornate layers. So the dies are Ranunculus, ornate layers, and Stitched Whimsy. I've had this die set for a little while and I haven't used it until now. And unfortunately you can't see it very much. It's on the vellum. I'll show you that in just a minute. But let's get started on this project. So here are some pieces. This ribbon, love this ribbon. Never know when to use it because it's really wide. But doesn't it make a statement on this card? We'll be doing that. Tear tape, metallic pearls, blender pens. If you haven't used these, today I'll show you all about them and they're very handy. It makes it so you could color with any stamp pad that you have, or just about any. And pieces and pieces, I don't know about that. Okay, so let's get started and we can work from the bottom up. Or you know what? Let's go through the dies. Sometimes it's easier to have the pieces out. So these are the dies for the flowers and they'll be stamped on here. And today we're going to be stamping in Smoky Slate. Usually we stamp in Memento, so we could color with the blends, but not today. Trying something different. Okay, so cut this out, and then this piece I have cut, which will perfectly fit inside, and I'll have all the paper cut sizes on my blog, and my blog is JilliBling.com. So here's that. So this is the die Stitched Whimsy. When I first received the die, I assumed it cut along the outside edge and I would have this shape piece, but it doesn't. It's just stitching only. So if you cut your paper, or in this case vellum, to fit, it will just put the stitching right along the outside edge. So like I was saying, it's not, let me see if you can see the stitched. See it right along here? It's not real obvious, but we know it's cute. It's going to go on here. So this is inside piece, and you know, I want to do a card, because you know how I like to change it up. This way. So I want to put this down here at the bottom. When I ran the die through right in here, oop, it didn't stick down. I think I put glue under there. It's probably all dried by now. I'll have to work on that. It took me a few passes. So I had it in here, ran it through again, and then I realized that this die is not exactly similar. For instance, see these two little petals right down here? And up here there's one petal. I kept on trying to put this on. See how there's the two petals? To run it back through, I kept on trying to put it on like this. And it's like, no, it looks like I don't have it lined up, but it feels like I do. Anyhow, long story short, it does matter which side you put it on. Okay, so let's cut this out. And that will go on the inside. Okay, we have a lot more pieces now. Let's try some of this. So, basic gray cardstock, cut in half, fold it, these are inside pieces. We'll work on this in just a minute. This one kept it really simple, a little bit of coloring required. Okay, so this is going to go on here. Because the ribbon is going to wrap around all these layers, I'm going to just connect them together and then put the ribbon around, but there's a little bit of stamping on the designer paper, so let's do that. And it's done in Smoky Slate. And this stamp, do your best to keep it straight, because on this sample card right here, somebody stamped these words down here really crooked. Kind of bugs me. It makes the whole card look crooked. So just random places. And you know, you probably won't even be able to see this, but we know it's there. Okay, that's good for now. So this piece goes under here just for a little bit of a border, only because putting it on like that, that's great, but when you have this little extra white border, it looks really nice. And you know, we're not scared of 10-layer cards. Okay, and then attaching the vellum, and you would think, oh, just go around the outside edge. The thing with vellum is when you put the adhesive on the back side, it shows through the vellum. So I'm purposely going to just put it right in the middle, because I know the whole middle of the card is covered with flowers. And I'm fine if these little edges kind of flop up. Right in the middle. Okay. And then the ribbon will go around, but you know what? I need to figure out the layout first, because I might do something. Oh, what about that? And the flowers come in. Oh, okay. This is pretty, but that just might be the ticket. Oh, and you know, there's this little die included in the die set. What did I do with those? Look how cute these are. Done in the silver foil, but when I put them on here, they seem to distract, so I put them off to the side, but I love those little things. Yeah. Okay, back on task. Okay, so we're going to stamp in Smoky Slate. I'm going to stamp 3 of the ranunculus and 3 of the little flower spray. And if you don't get the stem or every piece of the flower, because there's so many flowers on there, it's okay. For instance, if you miss the stem, in the end you really see maybe 1 or 2 stems. You don't see all these other ones, so don't worry if you don't get them 100% stamped. So this is my Smoky Slate pad, but I have a feeling I re-inked it with Granite Gray. It's working. It's not bugging me enough to try to take the ink off and re-ink it. Okay, am I going to be able to get 3 on here? But again, probably doesn't matter, because I just need the flowers on the tip. Okay, that'll do. Okay, so for coloring with the blender pens, I want to color. On this one, I colored a lot in Granny Apple Green. And here I just put a hint of heather and freesia. I think this is just freesia on here. Just little bits, but that's all Granny Apple. So this time I'm thinking Granny Apple for these leaves, and for these leaves, how about Jade? And on the Pinterest Wild Violet Art, just colored them with a little bit of green in the center and then a little bit of granny apple green throughout the flower, and that looked really good. So maybe I'll try that. Okay, so to do the blender pens, I'm going to start with the green. This little block. And in the past, I was schooled that you can take your blender pen, put it right into the pad, and color. But recently, I've started taking a tiny block, putting it in the ink pad, which picks up a little bit of the ink, but I can control it really well. So now when I go to color, I take my blender pen, make sure there's no color on it, pick up a little bit of this ink, and apply the color that way. Another thing, the old way that I was doing it, I would get a non-ink spot. I would have to re-ink my pad because I'd have kind of a whitish green color spot in the pad from the moisture from the pen going into the pad. Not that it ruined it, but it just took a little bit of extra work. And I like it this way because I can control how much ink I get. So a blender pen, I'm sure that there's a technical way to explain it, is like a marker with just clear liquid in it. And FYI, it's not just clear water, it's a special formulation. And you just pick up a little bit of the pigment, the ink from the pad, and color in whatever image you want to color. And it comes in a 3-pack. They're really nice, and they're 2-tipped. Okay, so on Pinterest, she took a little color right here into the middle and then just put a hint of green throughout the flower. Okay, so always before you close your lid, take the ink off of your pen. Now you're probably saying, you have more to color, but I want to show you. So for the jade, same thing. And I knew I needed just a little, so I put jade on there. There, now you can see the jade ink. And pick up the jade. So I'm going to hold this up here in just a minute, but as the ink wears out in the pen, it gets lighter and lighter. So if I were to color right now, it's like there's no jade in there. But when you get right back into the little puddle of ink, then you could do some darker areas. Okay, there's getting less and less ink, so now I'll do this. So it's kind of like two-tone, a little bit of shadowing, but nothing like working with the blends. And if you keep going over and over it, it will kind of muddy the image stamped in smoky slate. So go over it just a few times and consider it done. If I held this from afar, you would say, oh yes, the leaves are done. And you would be able to see the light and the dark. But you don't need to keep going over and over it. Okay, so for the heather and freesia, again, don't need that much because I'm coloring just these 3. Freesia. That's good. I'll probably need these for coloring the inside. And heather. And you could tell the difference between them. And then just go ahead and color in these. I have them all done. here they are, and they're cut out using the dies. Okay, so let's come up with a plan here. That looks good. I like this right at the bottom. So I want them different heights. That looks pretty. See if it will fit. It will fit. So, because I like this, I'm going to put some dimensionals on it. Hold it in place. Uh-oh. I have one dimensional. It's not going to do it. Okay, that's a good start. I know I'll be putting more on in just a minute. So if that goes here, I'm not going to set it down because the dimensionals are there. Oh, I don't want to lose the opportunity to have ribbon on here. Yeah. Okay, so this goes here. Then oh yeah, I have the jade leaves. If I don't strategically position that, we're not going to see the jade. The jade leaves. So this is just a study in how many dimensionals can we use. Oh, right there, you could see the jade. Okay. Well, I don't know if I could go that tall. There's probably an easier way to do this. Okay, so now I'm going to put dimensionals underneath some of these little sprigs. Don't want to mess it up. And it's holding on pretty well. Oh, but some of these flowers here on the front, definitely want some of these popped up. It's going to be like a pyramid of dimensionals. Okay, that looks good. So this is going to go on here. Maybe it could go underneath. Oh, that's pretty right like that. But what about the ribbon? I love this ribbon. Maybe just down around the bottom. Oh, that's pretty. Okay. Well, cut this at an angle. And if this goes here, okay, don't see too much. You know I have to see this ribbon. It's so pretty. So I'm going to try something a little different. I'm going to do just a little flag in it, just a little bit. So to do the flag, I'll show you on the next one. So if that goes right there to the end, then I'll cut it right here. Okay, so to do the flag, cut right in the middle, and I went up maybe 1/4 of an inch, and then cut from the end right to the middle, and then again from this end, this edge, right to the middle. Okay. Well, that was easier, which is good. So I'm going to stick this, I'll stick this down. It's not looking all that centered. Right in the center. Okay. Some of these I ought to put more dimensionals on. You know, 50. Okay. And because these are kind of flopping up, can't be losing that bouquet. I guess I didn't put glue or any adhesive on the whole bottom of it, just relying on dimensionals. One more. Okay. Then this will go right here. And to stick down ribbon, I like to use tear tape or liquid glue. So I think it will go right about here. And I still have the label. So even if I'm letting the adhesive show through the ribbon, I think the label will cover it up. But I think it's just fine. So get that centered. Yeah, the stitched whimsy you can hardly tell. It's cute though. Okay, so this is going to go right here. Maybe a little lower. That I'll put on with dimensionals. I hope they'll hold on through the ribbon. Okay, one in the middle for good luck. Okay, so I'm going to center this on the ribbon. Look at these little dots right here and here. Okay, it's kind of pretty when it shows through the basic gray, the slate. You can see a little bit more of the detail. Okay, so now words. Boy, this one is a lot easier than that first one. See, in this set, I like the Just For You. How about that? Just For You. Have I used it? Okay, and that could go in Smoky Slate. For you. That's like a bouquet, just for you. And then put on 3 metallic pearls. I'm going to do them right underneath the words. So right in the middle. Then off to one side. And hopefully equally the other side. Well, that's pretty. Okay, so for the inside, how about a flower? On this one, I put the flower here. Oh, I need a sentiment just for you. How about hello? Hello. I've used the other ones over and over. Hello. Smoky slate, flower. So if I stamp a lot, I have to color a lot. Keep wanting to do it in the middle. In the middle it is. So to do the coloring, let me get Granny Apple Green. Everything in here is just in green. Okay. Okay. And these pens, that had the purple on it, but once I clear the color out, you could go and use it again because there's no color remaining, which is nice about these. It's getting lighter and lighter. It's kind of like layered color. So she colored the center and then just a few areas added some Granny Apple Green. Like just really soft. So when the color was running out of the blender pen. So, I think that's about it. It's just very elegant. That's a lot of ink still on there. But, just so you know, to clean it out, just put it in here, give it a little rinse, and it's all clean. They're clean. Okay, time to assemble this card. I think this is done. This has gone really fast. The first one, I don't know. I was thinking too hard about it all. They're both beautiful. But I like gray and white. This, I'm going to put liquid glue around here because I know if I put my my snail, that got crooked. If I put my snail across here, you would be able to see kind of like the adhesive webs. Oh, I did the wrong side. Well, mistakes are a good thing, right? Everyone have an adhesive remover? Oh, you know what? I think I have another paper. Well, you could see, adhesive removers are a good thing. It just takes all of that adhesive and makes it gone. But you don't need to wait for that. I have one more right here. Smoky slate, basic gray, basic white. Pretty. Okay, and liquid glue. And because that thing was popping up, a little glue on that. And all along the bottom, and that should do it. This is the same size. I think I did something wrong. I didn't trim this to fit. Hold on. I had liquid glue everywhere. Wouldn't you know? Why do things like that happen? Well, that's better. Okay, so that is it for this card. It's very pretty. Thank you for tuning in and thanks for watching. Hope you have a great day. Bye.